welcome back to the Every Movie Ever podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Chad Whitney, and this is my boy, Michael Schwick.
Hey, everyone.
And that intro that you heard was brought to you by Artifacts. That's with a K.
We're not going to try and spell that one again.
Yeah.
Always mess up on that spelling. This is episode 17.
Episode 17, guys. We're reaching that 20 mark.
Yeah, we got to do something for 20.
Yeah. We'll hit 20 before year's end, right?
No, not with the new recording schedule.
Ooh. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Or maybe 20 will be the start of a new year.
No, it won't.
It won't? Damn.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well, first off, this week we've got Before We Go with Chris Evans and Alicia Eve, as well as Black Road, meh, and Odd Thomas.
Meh.
Had to throw shade at that one.
Odd Thomas with William Dafoe.
Yeah, with Willem Dafoe. I was I don't know why, I was just thinking earlier when I was thinking of his name, I was like Willem Dafoe, like William Dafoe, except William Dafoe.
Yeah, I know, I got it. I just didn't have a reaction because I didn't have a reaction.
It's so corny, but it's so good.
Nah, it wasn't.
Don't be a hater.
It wasn't that good.
Alright, so first off, we're starting with Before We Go, which is, would you call that a romantic comedy?
Yeah, definitely. It had all the workings of a romantic comedy.
Yeah. And so basically this stars Chris Evans as Nick, the trumpeter. Moved here from I don't know where he moved from.
No, he didn't move. He was there auditioning.
Yeah. But he was he only in town for that,
yes.
though? Where did he come from, though?
I have no idea.
Okay. And he was in town for a trumpet audition for a famous jazz musician that he is quite fond of, but he has secret desires to see his ex-girlfriend. So, let's read this description. When a young wife is robbed before I'm sorry, I could do that seriously. When a young wife is robbed before boarding a train to Boston, she meets a free-spirited musician who stays with her on the adventure of a lifetime.
I wouldn't call any of this an adventure of a lifetime.
It was an adventure, but not quite of a lifetime.
Yeah.
They had, I guess, the time of their life in the last 2 hours that they hung out, but...
Okay, so let's just, so Chris Evans plays like... it sounds weird, but my first note on this movie is, because you just see Chris Evans, he's just like playing the trumpet for money in the subway. Yeah. Like Grand Central Station or whatever. My first note is like, Chris Evans is too handsome to be an unemployed trumpet player on a subway.
I thought that too. I didn't write it down, but I was just like, this dude looks pretty fresh to me.
Yeah, like fucking like clean beard and like hair. Like anytime I've seen a musician on the subway, they don't look like Captain America.
He looked better than Captain America in this almost.
Well, it's because he's not wearing all the prosthetic shit they make him put on it. Because I think he's wearing fake muscles a lot in Captain America. And then like he does like some face stuff. Yeah,
beards I'm team beard, guys. If you haven't seen the picture of the Chad is beard gang all day.
So then we see Alice Eve. She's just like, is it Alice Eve? Yeah, Alice Eve. She's running. She drops her phone in front of Chris Evans, who's just sitting counting his money. Yeah, but he makes no effort to give it back to her. He's just like, "Hey, miss."
Yeah, he picks it up super slowly. Like, I've got it. She's running for a train clearly at Grand Central Station. He just casually picks up her stuff. And it was like, I'll take it to her.
Eventually,
yeah, I'll get there.
The phone's broken. She can't make her train, so she's like freaking out because she has to make it home
by 7 a.m.
Yeah, by 7 a.m. So now she's stuck without a phone, no money, because her purse was stolen earlier that day.
A Prada purse.
And Chris Evans is just a really nice guy. His name is Nick.
I said he went through... I said Nick is pretty smooth, but I was like, I wouldn't go through all of this. It was way too much for me.
So, like, one of the first things he does, he tries to...
He gives her stuff back, but then he overhears her talking about how the station was closing and she didn't know what to do because she's like, oh shit, where am I going to go? So he starts talking to her to figure out how he could assist her And that's where he tries to get her, like, the taxi cab and shit.
He tries his phone, but then he's like, my phone's
dead. No, he tried the phone after.
Okay, yeah.
After that, because he tried to get her a cab, and, like, all his credit cards were declined. They had no money. He had $80 to his name. And then he tried to, like, call somebody, and his phone died.
He tried to use a cab. His 2 cards got denied. Yeah. He's like, this is embarrassing.
And she just, like, this one, she just kind of makes the asshole statement, like, damn, do anything you have work? And he's like, oh, shit, I was trying to help you.
That was the thing. It was like, she was really rude to him, but also he came across very, like, arrogant.
A little bit, yeah. Like, he came off like Captain America.
No. There was something endearing about him as Captain America, where he's just like a all shucks Boy Scout. In this movie, he was mostly just like, he reminded me of just an arrogant person that knew he was good looking.
Okay,
and that's just how he just acted, kind of.
I could see that.
Where he knew, like, the entire time he's helping her, in his head you can tell he's just like, I don't need to help you.
Yeah,
he just had that kind of swagger about him of just like, I don't actually need to help you. And you're being a bitch.
But I'm going to help you because you're pretty. And why not? It's New York.
No. And again, one of my other notes, again, he's just too well groomed to be a Subway trumpet player. Yeah. I don't know. That's multiple times in my notes where I'm just like, nah, he's...
not believable at all.
Yeah.
From what Schwick told me, Chris Evans directed this film.
Yeah, it's his first movie he directed.
Yeah, so... You know, maybe that's how he envisions his charming self.
I guess. Or he just didn't give himself direction.
He was like, fuck it, if anybody's playing this role, it's going to be me.
Yeah. I just need a break from being a hero.
Right? And he keeps making hero references. He's like, if I could help you through this night, I'd be some kind of hero. And I was like, fucking Chris Evans.
Yeah. So they decide to track down the purse. She's like, I know where it was taken, and they go to a bar. Again, this movie, nothing happens really. It's a very contained story.
Yeah.
So they go to the bar, and apparently it's part of this big scheme of stealing purses.
Purse stealers.
Because they asked the bartender, and they didn't have to do much to get him to give the information.
Yeah. He was just like, if a purse was stolen, I probably know the guy that has this purse.
And then at first he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but then Chris Evans is like, well, I could call the cops, and he's like, well, let me go see.
No, he was like, we can give you a very generous gratuity or something.
Yeah, there we go.
And knowing they were both broke.
But they ended up charging the gratuity to a credit card, which is just so crazy. If like, hey dude, you're doing this whole stolen purse thing.
Yeah.
Why would you want to have a paper trail for your credit? Like,
I wouldn't have done it with a card, been like cash only. You can hit the ATM and come back.
Yeah, because then they can easily go back of like, yeah, see this $400 I had to give the bartender? That was because he stole my purse.
Extortion and thievery.
So they make it to this sewing, like some sweatshop looking thing. Mm-hmm. I have no idea time of day of any of what they're doing.
No, I kind of...
They would mention time every once in a while.
Estimated. I don't know. It was weird.
Like Grand Central, I don't know what time that closes. I looked online and I saw 1:30 and 1 o'clock.
1:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't make sense, though.
No, not at all.
With all the things they went through, that mean like by the time they met up at the bar with the friend, it had to be like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I heard them mention something about 2 a.m., okay. But that wouldn't make sense because if the thing only closed at 1, there's no way they made it from one side of the town to the other.
Yeah, walking. They
walking, yeah. They took the train when they could.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
So they get to the thing. He tells Alice Eve, like, hey, you go to the corner store over there because I don't know how dangerous this is and I'm a hero. And she's like, well, do you have money to pay them? And he's just like, I'm just going to take it and run.
Yeah. And so she decides that's a good opportunity for her to tell the cops what happened up there. And so the dude see the cops coming up in the elevator and just
punch the shit out of him.
Deck Nick's ass, like, get out of here.
But they're so, like, for thieves, they're so organized in terms of just, or not organized, just so polite in terms of like, he's like, so which purse is yours that we stole? And he's like, that one.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, that's going to be $900. There's so much of just like, they're so upfront of like, yeah, we stole this.
Yeah.
And we're going to charge you $900 even though you just caught us that we stole it and you can get us in trouble. $900. But then she calls the cops. But before she calls the cops, she calls her husband.
Yeah.
Just to check up on him because she's got a husband. And apparently he's coming home at 8. Yeah. And she's panicked because she's supposed to be home. And she basically pretended that she was home. So we find out that she is doing something she shouldn't be doing.
She did something. I don't even really know what the fuck she did.
Eventually they get to it, but basically it sounds like so at one point she calls her friend, and she tells her friend like, "Hey, break into my house. There's a note that I wrote for my husband." So it sounds like she was leaving her husband.
Yeah, she was leaving her husband, but
had second thoughts.
She had second thoughts about it because.
And now needed
she said she was sitting at the bar, and that's when she realized, like, I do want to still be with him, and she tried to catch that last train and then missed it.
So that's why she needs to be home. She needs to be home so she can get the letter that says, "Hey, I'm leaving you," before her husband gets home from a business trip. Yeah. But it sounds like the husband cheated?
Actually was the one cheating.
Yeah. But she wants to make it work because she's stupid.
In sophisticated businessman email cheating form, like straight up affair.
The crazy thing is that this makes me think she's stupid because like she has no ties because she mentions her stepson. Yeah. So she doesn't have a kid with him.
She said she just loved him and didn't want to.
But if I don't understand people when they stay in those relationships where it's like they're being cheated on, but they're like, "I'll make it work. I'll change him."
Who knows?
Yeah,
being with him is worse than being without him.
So this is where this is where the movie kind of pisses me off because it starts to get into more cliche like scenarios. They somehow make it to a gig that Chris Evans, I guess, booked, but it turns out
it was, Chris Evans was trying to get to the party with his friends, but his friend gave him the wrong address.
So they ended up
at the wrong hotel, but there was a party going on.
And then,
but Blues Brothers style, the band hadn't showed up, so they played in their place.
And there was no questions, and he was like, $500 up front.
Because they ironically had a trumpeter too.
Yeah, and then he's like, "This is it's only me and her. The rest of the band will show up, so just give me $500 now, and you give us the rest of the money when the whole band shows up."
Yeah, because it was 10%. I think he said he was supposed to pay them $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000.
Yeah, so he's like, just give me $500 up front.
So of course the corny thing happens where he tells her like, "You sing, I'll play the trumpet." And she's like, "I can't sing. I've never sang in my life."
Yeah, but she had just told him that she sang as a dare or something, and then did a striptease for some boy.
Yeah.
It's something.
But of course, it's that scenario where he starts playing, and he's like, "Uh-oh, is she going to be able to sing?" And guess what? She can sing.
She can kind of sing, yeah. He's a much better trumpet player than she is a singer, but she got the job done.
It sounds like she can actually sing, but she was doing the nervous voice thing. But it was one of those scenarios where it's just like, of course they would do this thing where I can't sing, but oh no, it turns out I can sing, and it just seems so corny. But of course,
it's a cheesy romantic comedy moment.
Yeah, but of course they get found out and have to run after one song.
Yeah, then they try and charge the room that the guy that paid them or was gonna pay them the $500 because he didn't pay them.
Yeah,
but he gave them access to the green room, and they tried to charge the room for a car.
A ride from New York to Boston. Yeah, on a car, and then when they get downstairs, the driver's like, "You're not Mr. whatever."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh no, I'm just chauffeuring his
I'm escorting his guest down." And then you're like, "Well, let me just call him up right now." And they're like, "You know what? We're gonna go to the bar and get a drink. We'll be right back." So they run off.
Yeah,
and then that's when they make it to the. Oh no, they do another thing. They do a stupid bit that they've did twice in this movie, where they go to the phone. And they're from the future. They call their past selves, and it's just
the phone is a time machine. So she calls her future
but not a real time machine. This movie isn't that interesting.
Yeah. She calls her future self.
No, her past self.
He calls his past.
Oh, okay.
He goes to 2004, and she goes to 2020 something.
Okay, because they both kind of say of like, "Hey, you're gonna get into a situation. Don't get into a situation." So I thought they both went in the past.
Yeah, no.
But
because he was like, "No, instead of doing that, I'm gonna go past." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, and it's so cheesy, and it was only there because they had to tell their past self a secret so they would know it was them. So it was just like a contrived reason for them to get to know each other.
An icebreaker for them.
For some reason, that just bothered me. This whole movie was so cliched.
It's a romantic comedy, man.
I know, but still. They eventually make it to Nick's friend's wedding reception.
Yeah.
And his friend is just trashed.
Yeah, his friend is super
But he
trashed.
hands him like $300. He's like, hey, this is all I can get for you guys.
He's just like, no, we don't need the money anymore, actually.
Yeah, because her friend is going to break in and
yeah,
get the letter. And she's like, fine, cool.
Yeah, but he does get the hotel key because he was going to be staying at his friend's hotel. His friend's name was Danny.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There's a hiccup. And so at this party, as we mentioned earlier, he has an ex-girlfriend that he wanted to see, but she's with someone, and so he's kind of not wanting to see her.
Yeah, but Brooke, her name's Brooke. First she tells him it's Carrie, but that was a lie.
That's what
Alice Eve.
Yeah.
So Alice Eve Brooke convinces Nick to like go for some closure or try and reconnect with her, and then
because they did have a little energy when they ran into each other, but Nick kind of ran off.
They had more chemistry than Nick and Brooke have.
Yeah, definitely.
But it sounds like that doesn't go well, but he got some closure. Turns out
she's pregnant.
She's pregnant, and she said it was the happiest she's ever been, which bummed him out. But then he was like, "I'm okay now."
Yeah,
like it was. Yeah,
I gotta be an adult about this, so I'm gonna be some Captain America shit.
But then this is when Brooke then gets another call from her friend. I forget they go to a psychic
because her phone's broken.
Yeah,
so she had to call.
She calls in the middle of the psychic reading. They go to see an old man psychic who basically tells them kind of like they're made for each other sort of like thing because he thought they were together. Of course, that would be a thing.
Yeah, which technically an odd Thomas with the little gypsy thing telling them that they were made for each other. It's pretty cool that we have that little connection. There's
usually like some weird connection between the trio of movies, even though how random they were picked.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Force.
So when they're at the psychic, Brooke goes to call her friend. Her friend's like, I threw a brick through your window because I couldn't find the key. And then the alarm went off, so I ran. Which is funny. And she's like, oh, no, it's okay. That really sucks, though.
Yeah, like, shit.
I'm screwed now because who knows what fucking time it is, and I got to get to Boston in now, like, probably like 3-4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Less than 3 hours.
But no matter what, they still had enough time to make their way to the hotel after that. Hang out, have a full-ass, like,
shower
session,
chill. They made out for a second or two, right?
Yeah, they had an intimate moment, but they didn't have relations. They didn't get to know each other.
They didn't get to know each other.
In the biblical
but they still
sense.
had plenty of time to like take separate showers.
Yeah.
Talk. I wish
order room service.
Yeah, I wish I like had a time stamp for some of this because it just seems so ridiculous.
I think they were just like, time doesn't matter when you're in love. Puke.
Then they decide, because the train's open by now, and they do the future phone thing again.
Yeah. And
which is cheesy.
He's like, hey, guys, make sure that you stay that you stay with this woman because she's the one for you type shit.
Yeah, really, really, really corny.
It was a cheesy
corny
movie.
Shit.
I enjoyed it a little more than Schwick did.
I just... So that's basically the movie, though. But
yeah, that
where
is the movie. She gets on the train and she sees the card they did together. It was like a review of the hotel. Like, how was
would
your
you stay? Yeah, would you return?
Yeah,
again?
And he left. Would you return open? And on this card it said turn over.
Yeah,
she turned it over, and like Inception, they didn't show us what the fuck.
Yeah,
happened.
but she was smiling.
Yeah,
so it was either. Chad's was it your theory that it's his dick, or was that my
theory? Your theory?
Okay, so I have two theories. First theory is it was just a picture of his dick.
Yep,
it was just
very possible.
I imagine Chris Evans is a very good artist. He can probably sketch a dick.
Yeah. If what's his name? If Jonah Hill can do it.
If Jonah Hill can sketch dicks, I'm pretty sure Chris Evans can. So my first theory is Chris Evans' character sketched his penis.
Yeah.
And was like, this is to scale. He put a scale like
He was the like meter and everything.
yeah 1/16 representation or something, and she had to like think about it for a second. It was like, that's quite large, Chris Evans. My second theory is it just said, yeah, that's me, I'm Captain America, and then she was just like, I knew it.
I knew it.
No one is this nice in 2016.
I'll be back as sure as Avengers.
Yeah.
That's the best I have.
What's your theory?
My theory, I like the dick theory.
Right.
What else would get her to come back?
And smile.
And smile. The
yeah.
D.
Other than like, can you come back? Like what?
Want to get some coffee?
Yeah. You want some coffee? And she's like, oh, that guy.
Ooh, that Nick.
Yes.
Yeah, I love coffee.
Yes. And then after she smiles and like puts the picture to her chest to smile, again, dick would make more sense.
Yeah, give it a nice little hug.
Either one. Either it's a dick or it's him saying he's Captain America, and she's like, oh my God, Captain America.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we don't know
theories.
what happens because the movie just fades out and then says directed by Chris Evans. So she either went home and told her husband like it's over, or she went home and stayed with her husband forever. We don't know if Chris Evans actually got to audition.
Yeah, I wanted to know about his audition, but then I was like, I guess it's irrelevant. It can just
but it was his dream, so it'd be kind of nice to know. And also, he spent the last 24 hours awake, so he's probably not at his top condition.
Probably stink. I know he showered.
He showered, but still, like, you're trying to audition for something you wanted your whole life. You'd probably want some rest.
Some rest, yeah. He's just gonna snort some coke.
So what did Netflix say this would be for you?
Netflix said that this movie would be... Oops, I left it. What did it say it would be for you?
It said it would be a 4 for me.
4 for you?
Yeah. I honestly, I'll probably go with a 2.5.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad movie, but
it said 4 for me as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a good movie. I wouldn't want to give it a 4 or anything.
I give it 3.5 just because it's a little above average, but it was pretty cheesy. It was an easy watch for me though.
No, it was totally an easy watch. It was definitely one of those movies. It's a romantic comedy that you could just put on in the background. Yeah. Or if it's on TV, you could sit through it and not like.
I'm pretty sure it's plenty ladies out there that would enjoy snuggling up to this as cuffing season comes about.
What?
Cuffing season, wintertime, you know, everybody's trying to get booed up.
Nah, I didn't think that was a thing.
And my cuffing is I chill, I do my thing.
Okay.
But you know, it's
your cuffing people. Is a snuggie.
A snuggie, some warm cocoa. I've got like 60 bags at home. Definitely some PlayStation in there. Not quite Netflix, you know. I Netflix for the podcast, but lately I've been trying to binge on Overwatch, get my rank up.
Same here. Season 3 starts in a couple days.
Season 3 starts tomorrow.
No, I still thought it was 2 days.
Tomorrow, like 4 o'clock.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it says like 2 days up until like 4 o'clock-ish.
I think Sombra is going to be one of my mains.
She's fun if you use her really well.
She like my attack is always Diva.
Yeah.
My defense is Mei.
Okay.
And then fun. Sombra is if anyone took Mei or Diva.
Yeah. I think Sombra's going to be my second or third. I'm really excited to try this new Symmetra update. Patch,
yeah, they've updated the hell out of her.
Yeah. But Reinhardt's going to take me to the top. I hear he's who you got to play with.
I was really happy when I looked at all my friends' stats and I found out that I'm significantly better than pretty much all of my friends.
That's good. Are you better than me?
I might be.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I was just basing like how many wins people had and how many hours they played.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Compared to me, who I didn't have the game fully until a couple of days ago.
Yeah, season 2 was rough for me, man. Wait, you have it fully now?
Yeah, I bought it.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was on Black Friday for like $27.
Ooh.
So it's one of those things where I can stop borrowing my roommate's copy.
Yeah, right, that's great. Now we can all game together. You did say you wanted to get
Well, if you guys are all significantly bad, I might just loan with it.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys don't improve, I'm going to have to bail on you guys.
Playing with all of them, we were winning. We were dominating quick play. And then we went to competitive and just started getting whooped. And I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, no, I'm only going to do competitive. I don't want to do any offline bot stuff.
Yeah. But yeah. This next movie was kind of shitty.
So that was before we go.
Yeah. Next one is Black Road, which was actually filmed or released, where Netflix says it's from 2016.
Yeah.
In a rustic, destitute my bad, man. In a rustic, destitute... This gave me trouble last time,
Yes,
remember?
it did. Yes, it did.
In a rustic, destitute Pacific Northwest, free of government, a cybernetically enhanced drifter tries to protect a woman from her menacing ex-husband. Yeah.
So where to start? It immediately starts with some text.
This is
in the year 2029.
7 states declared secession and formed the Free Independent States of America. For some reason, I didn't write America there. I just stopped after and apparently Southern Oregon and Northern California fought for the new free state of Jefferson, which they never tell you where. Well, you can assume where Jefferson is.
Those are the 7 states then. I think those are the 7 states that broke off.
Oregon, California, like that.
Yeah, the whole West Coast.
Northwest. Yeah, Northwest Coast.
So they broke off from the U.S. to form their own civilization, but then it looks like it has not worked out for them.
Yeah, and it's called the Free Independent States of America, which to me, if you're free and independent, you shouldn't have such a collective title as Free Independent States of America.
Yeah, and also why you gotta that's like getting divorced and then still keeping the last name.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Like, no, you can't have the of America anymore, or of the United States anymore. No, you lose that.
And so,
it's like naming a state New Mexico. Why the fuck would you name a state New Mexico?
Damn it. Now I will forever look at New Mexico in a new way. Yeah. Just like, damn it, New Mexico, let it go.
Yeah, just fucking go. Stop it.
What would they be called? What would New Mexico's name be?
I don't know.
Damn.
Hell
I'm
on
gonna
Earth?
avoid that. Hell on Earth. Boring. Just that.
I thought this was Arizona.
All caps.
New Mexico's called. I thought I went to Arizona. Like, that's it. I kind of just think Arizona's like that whole chunk over there. It's like, oh no, New Mexico's a state.
Yeah, you were actually in New Mexico right now. But if you keep going a little this way, then
you'll be in like a shitty place, but it's probably less shitty.
Way less shitty. All right.
I always think of Mr. Burns in The Simpsons when someone mentions New Mexico and he goes to Smithers like, "There's a New Mexico."
I don't know. I don't catch that reference, but I get the joke.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
It's a Mr. Burns joke.
I watched plenty of Simpsons, and not many go over my head. That was
it's so right burnt into my growing up. Like, Simpsons was that thing that you just watched. Like,
I've gotten less consistent though with it.
I haven't watched really consistently since like 2005. But like when I was a kid growing up, Simpsons was like, it was on every Sunday and it was on at like 5:30. So after school, you would watch it at 5:30, and then
what came on like after that? I feel like it was like Seinfeld or something.
It was like Seinfeld. It was like 5 and 5:30 would be The Simpsons. They would either get the full hour or just a half hour.
Yeah,
and then I would know it was almost time to go to bed because they would come on at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
and then I was like, damn, I got to go to bed. Yeah. And then I got pissed because they moved Frasier to that 10 o'clock slot, and then Simpsons got moved to 10:30.
I hate Frasier too.
Frasier
and Seinfeld.
I liked Frasier as a kid just because it was a spinoff of Cheers.
Yeah,
and I liked Cheers growing up. Except I didn't like Frasier and Cheers.
Where everybody? Yeah, you said that too. Actually.
Yeah, I didn't really like him. I don't think I liked any of the characters in Cheers, but I liked the show. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, that is weird, but
I can't name like a favorite Cheers character. Woody Harrelson was okay in it.
Woody Harrelson was in that?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He was the country bumpkin.
Huh. I didn't watch enough Cheers growing up. I watched it, but
there's a live Cheers stage show in Chicago right now.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's awesome because when they open it,
it,
I kind of want to, but it's been sold out for like months.
What?
And it's also like $37 a ticket, and I don't know if I want to.
Does it have any of like the originals?
No. Okay. It's just a bunch of fucking hipsters.
Okay.
Like, oh, remember this show? We're doing a shitty fan fiction.
Remember Cheers?
But the set, I saw pictures of the set, and the set is fucking dead on.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty
and
cool. Where was Cheers filmed?
Boston.
Oh, okay.
It's a real bar in Boston.
Oh, so Brooke probably went there from before we go.
Yeah, maybe. But
it's her favorite place. Everybody knows.
I just heard that someone that went to it on Twitter said, when they start playing it on a piano, the whole crowd starts singing the theme song. I kind of want to be there in that moment. So we didn't start on Thomas yet, did we?
No, yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Let's start on. Oh no, not on. We were doing
Black Road.
Black Road. Okay, yeah, this movie sucked.
Yeah. So basically, what's the main character's name?
I just kept calling
Sterling.
I just kept calling him the Drifter.
Oh no, Sterling was the bad guy.
I think
Clyde was the voice. Bruce,
no, Bruce was. I think he's just the Drifter.
Yeah, he's just a drifter, and but he's an military. He's basically Rambo from the first Rambo, except he's got a fucking
AI named Clyde implanted in his head.
Yeah.
They implant it when you're in the military, and part of the deal is you get to keep it when you go because it's useless.
Yeah.
To anyone else.
And so, basically, to describe this voice, it's Luke and Owen Wilson's older brother. What the fuck is his name?
Unimportant Owen?
Yeah.
Or unimportant Wilson?
Unimportant. The other Wilson. It's Andrew Wilson.
Andrew Wilson.
And basically, his voice is pretty bland to me in this movie. Like
it's okay. It's a good AI voice.
Yeah, I felt it was good, but it was one of those things that kind of annoyed me. It felt like he put nothing into it.
The AI in the beginning of the movie is just, or throughout the whole movie, is just kind of just talking to him, kind of just like a buddy, but also just kind of giving him basic Google shit.
Yeah, it's a really fancy Google.
Yeah, it's fancy.
Amazon, what's that? Amazon
Alexa,
Flex, yeah.
Alexa, Siri, Galaxy.
Yeah, he's weird, but apparently he can take him out of his head.
But he had like a big fucking chip that he would take out and be like, "That's Clyde," and it's just like I never saw the hole in his head. You see the cyborg.
You see the hole like when he takes it out and stuff, but then when it's out,
oh no, when it's in, you can see it.
Okay.
When it's in, you can see it, but I never really see him take it out of his skull. I saw him take Clyde out of his pocket once or twice, which made no sense.
Dude, at the end when he dropped it in the sand, it was bloody, and he dropped it in the sand. Okay. I was like, oh, this is ruined. I was like, why would you do that? But yeah, so basically, Clyde was used for military, but now he just gives him advice like, I just want you to be happy, man.
Yeah, like, let's get the fuck out of these free states because it sucks here. He's constantly telling him,
let's go back to America,
let's just hop on your bike and let's go. And also, like, the Drifter has no compassion for, like, the poor people. Like, we get introduced to, like, this, like, hippie lady and her daughter.
He's like, I'm poor too.
I'm poor too. and then she's like, I was a social justice attorney in America, and he's like, and then you came here, and now you're poor. Like, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he was a dick.
He says, and now like, and then he just says, like, fucking freeloaders as he walks by.
He kept reminding me of dude from Guardians of the Galaxy and Parks and Rec. But like just a poor man's version of him, like nowhere near as good.
Okay, don't insult Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Don't insult Chris Pratt.
But he seemed like if they could have chosen anybody for that role, they would have chosen Chris Pratt. But
they couldn't afford him.
So yeah, they were like, shit, he blew up a little too soon. If you had given us one more year, Chris Pratt, you would have been in this movie for us. And now he was like, big year for me.
So he goes to a bar and he meets like an older woman, or he sees an older woman getting attacked. Like, he's always hanging out at a bar with a girl named Sarah.
Yeah.
But she never really plays a big role in the movie. She's just kind of always at the bar. She gives him a place to crash at.
She plays the motivation for him to make the final move he made at the end of the movie.
But even then, like, I don't feel like he knew her enough to actually give a damn, because he didn't give a damn about anyone else.
No, Sarah was apparently an old ex or something.
Okay. All right.
But he was trying to get back with her, but she was now dating Bruce, the cop of the town. And apparently she was pregnant by him. But actually, this is weird. Because later on she wants to fuck, which at the time I was like, okay, she's just a cheater. I totally forgot she's pregnant. So he would have been pregnant fucking her. So that's double what he had to think about, which is why he didn't do it.
You gotta worry about the baby grabbing you.
Baby hands. So yeah, that would be terrifying.
I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
That's not how it works, but if that happened, I would be terrified.
You just feel something pulling you in, like, motherfucker. And it would say motherfucker and be justified.
Right.
So this older woman, she's older, right? We can say she's older.
He said when he guessed her age, he said 32.
But he looked like he was being nice. Yeah. Like he said it with hesitation, like, oh.
She'd have to be in her 50s.
No, dude, she's
like 52.
No, late 30s.
Late 30s?
Late 30s, maybe early 40s.
Maybe.
You're being mean again. we had this discussion about a woman on this. There was a female character somewhere.
She just looked old.
Yeah. Oh, we were having it with the Nicolas Cage movie, the cheerleading coach.
Which one?
Remember they said she was like 24? The politician movie.
Okay, I kind of remember that. Oh,
and they said
the he cheated on his wife for.
Yeah, the black cheerleader coach.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's only 24 years old, and then we saw her, and we're like, come on.
Yeah, she's like 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he sees this older woman getting strangled by some dude. He pulls the dude off, and then
because he was flirting with her, and she just ran away when she saw he had the like cybernetic advancement on him.
Yeah,
and she apparently, but he had already saved her from getting jumped in the bar. And then she's about to get jumped and killed again.
He grabs the guy, and then he noticed the guy also has cybernetic stuff, so he ends up letting him go just because he's like, oh shit, this guy's also...
Which that guy never even comes into play again.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Turns out he was military.
Yeah.
Because apparently...
I thought he was going to be like a main henchman or something.
Yeah, but no, I guess he's just a mercenary who fucked up and then was like, nope.
Yeah.
Then he takes a woman home, and he's like, I think it was my ex-husband... And then they have sex.
Yeah, her name was Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa.
Hey.
The sex scene was kind of long for a short movie.
Yeah, it was...
I felt like
a lot of the movie, like, it reminded me of The Room because of how much time the sex scenes took in terms of
that shitty movie, The Room? Mm-hmm. I've never seen it. I always wanted to. He actually did
shitty.
He did a QA at the Music Box Theater. He screened it and did a QA recently.
That's
like
amazing.
He tours and then tells people this is a good movie, and everyone's laughing at him most of the time.
He had an adult. He's
Tommy
serious about thinking. Yeah, Tommy was
Yeah.
He had an Adult Swim show that was basically just as bad.
He wants to make a sequel to The Room or something like that.
How? He's dead.
I remember he wants to do something with The Room.
Okay. Oh no! Aren't James Franco and Seth Rogen are remaking it?
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
He also apparently has
making a documentary.
He has a TV pilot that he tried to kickstart or something that you should watch. It's shit.
Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I wouldn't do that for sure tonight.
So they have sex. Sex scene lasted longer than it should have.
Way longer, but it was whatever. You get to see a lot of old lady back. And Swick says she's 30 something, so
yeah,
to see middle-aged woman back.
And side boob.
Yeah, some side boob. You get like a nip slip here and there, but
it's mostly his hands protecting him from the camera.
It wasn't the type of thing that you get turned on from, but you're like, all right, whatever.
But it was this movie's way of being like, this is hot, guys, right? Yeah. And it's like, nah.
Like in some 90s, like, Sandra Bullock way or something. Sandra Bullock was way better at it.
So then, after having sex with her, she's like, hey, I'm going to hire you, and then
oh, my bad.
Then he confronts the husband.
Yeah, because she tries to hire him because apparently the husband is the one that's trying to kill her. And she's like, you need money. You're a merc. Like, I'll pay you $5,000 or something to do this for me. And he's like, all right, whatever. He was hesitant, but then he's like, whatever. So he goes and talks to Sterling.
Yeah, which is the ex-husband.
Yes. And who's apparently, he owns a farm and a door business or something.
A bunch of businesses, because he has a bunch of projects. He's like really rich.
Yeah. He basically owns the town.
Yeah, and he has like a weird old man slave thing.
Yeah. Kind of really weird.
Yeah.
And all his subjects were men.
Like old men.
Yeah. Old farmer men.
Yeah. At one point, you see him eat something. And put something in his mouth, he eats it, and then his eyes turn black.
It looks like super black hash or some shit, but
something
it's
like
definitely not hash. I wrote down, I was like, so Sterling had a drug and powers that let him manipulate people?
I guess, because at one point then, after he eats a thing and his eyes turn black, it freaks out the Drifter and the AI. They both slow down, freeze up, and then they're about to pass out, but luckily... he's able to shoot his gun, which turns out to just be
like a stun gun.
It's like a stun gun wave blaster thing.
Yeah, which
And he gets away.
Sterling feeds that black shit to people, and they like start overdosing on
they
it. They
ooze
shit.
from the mouth like black stuff. It plays out later.
So is that what I like? Question was like, did that shit come from Sterling? Like they were clearly farming it, and it was from some weird. I think it might for like 2 seconds. But why does Sterling have the power?
Yeah, I guess it's... I have no idea. It's just... the movie's kind of not well thought out.
No, it wasn't.
So then we get introduced to, like, Bruce, the peace officer. They call him peace officers.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because they're in Freedom land or whatever.
He talks to the peace officer, and the peace officer sees the video feed and then tells him, like, I'll try taking care of this, don't worry. But you fucked up. I can't arrest him because you trespassed and threatened him enough that he's justified in doing whatever he did to you.
Yeah. Because these are the free states of America. He could kill you.
Yeah. I think they have sex again.
He can George Zimmerman your bitch ass.
I think they have sex again.
Yeah, they do have sex again because Sarah tried to seduce him. This is when she tells him, like, if you're okay with it, I'm okay. And so he goes, watches her perform again, has some drinks, and then he's like, nah, I'm going to fuck Lisa.
Yeah, and they do that weird thing where she's at the front door, she's like, come around back. And then he goes around back, and then she's at the back door, and she's like, go around to the other door.
Yeah, I'm locking you out this one. And then when he gets to the final door, she's laying on the bed, like...
Yeah, and then they have sex again.
Yeah, you just hear her moaning and shit. And then the third time they have sex, they just like, they don't give you anything. They just like, you know.
Thank God, because I didn't care enough.
Me either. I was like, come on, guys.
So the ex ends up waking him up in the morning because he's like in the back.
I was watching this at like 4 a.m, I feel like, too. And I didn't want to wake up my like roommate with loud moaning noises.
Yeah, I probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Especially then when he sees what it is and he's just like, man.
Oh, man, you chose this over real porn.
Yeah. So the ex confronts them and is like, hey, okay, I will strike a deal just to get her off my back, but also to tell you, because I guess the wife was like, I need him to sign the divorce papers, and then he's just like, the divorce papers were signed years ago.
Yeah, because she wants gold.
She wants money
all that
because
gold. But she won't dig for it. Ironically,
she eventually
digs for it.
Well, she eventually says, our divorce is official. I did lie about that, but he forged my signature. Sounds like she didn't want to get divorced, but he forged it specifically so she wouldn't get money. I guess he forged a thing that's like, hey, I'll walk away with no money to divorce. Yeah,
but he just kept manipulating Drifter, and Lisa wasn't being that straight with him, so it was kind of tough for him to read what the fuck was going on. I felt like I was having a hard time reading.
I was too.
Going on. And I was like, whatever, it's just a back and forth with this dude.
They were trying to make it vague to where you would, as a viewer, would be like, I don't know who to believe, but in reality,
by the end of the movie, I was like, dude, damn, this is stupid.
Yeah, by the end of the movie, I was just like, I don't care who is right or wrong. I just don't want to watch this anymore.
No. What did I write down? I was like, okay, so...
He decides to go for it, and he gets he loads his gun, and then he meets with the peace officer.
The real gun. He had a real gun this time. And
he meets up with the peace officer who's on the beach in a van with blood on his hands and like berry stuff coming out.
Yeah, he's holding some like thing that's special to him.
Yeah,
but he won't pay attention to do, so he throws that shit in the water.
Yeah, it was a knife or something.
Yeah, okay.
Because I guess they were trying to say they killed Sarah.
Yeah, but really she had just been kidnapped and assaulted. I don't think sexually.
No, but it's one of those things where like, why would they fake the whole we murdered her thing just to set him off and piss him off?
Yeah, just
because then he goes into the farm ready to kill everybody.
Yeah,
and then this is when I fell asleep.
Okay, I got it then. And so
because I know he was just like, I'm going to go fucking kill them all, and then the AI is like, we could just leave.
Yeah, the AI's like, bro, we can leave again.
We could leave, man. Who gives a shit about these people? She's already dead. Why would we go over there? Because as far as the AI and him know, she's dead. There's the dude with blood on his hands, and he's throwing away a knife.
Yeah, that into whatever, but
the ocean.
Okay, so what happens is, so basically, he confronts dude again without the AI.
Oh, he's wearing like a poncho.
Yeah,
I remember this.
And dude tells him like he uses his powers, but I don't know if it was supposed to work on him or not, or if he was just playing along with it. But he basically goes back and then confronts Lisa Like, he told me all this information and he tried to kill Lisa. And she's like, no, that's what he wants you to do. So he doesn't kill Lisa. But he does knock her ass out.
Yeah.
And then that's when he goes to investigate the gold more because he found one piece of gold at her place. And he's like, she must have it. And she's like, he planted it.
Like, why would I just leave the gold outside? Because it's like this little tiny gold bar.
And so they have their confrontation with... He goes back to the cop, Bruce, for some reason on the beach, and he's lurking on him. And he gets clocked in the back of the head with a shovel from Sterling. And Sterling, instead of finish him, he goes to Bruce and he's like, you finish him with this shovel. Beat the shit out of him. So long story short, Bruce gets stun gunned, and then Sterling thinks that the Drifter won't shoot him with the real gun for some reason, and Drifter fucking pops him in the head. And yeah, but
Drifter's on the beach.
Clyde is like done. He had to take him out his head because he smacked his ass right on Clyde with the shovel. And I don't know if my man is dead. Like
he was just like lying on the beach. Right?
He was lying on the beach. He looked dead. He was standing above himself, unscathed, looking at the scene of all the dead people. But then he was also walking on the beach with the dog that Clyde said that he told Clyde he was going to get. But while that seems surreal, he actually physically picks up Clyde. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
No idea.
End of that. But they do show Lisa digging for the gold, and she looks like she has no idea where it is. So it's like, damn, Lisa was telling the truth. So this gold digger has to actually dig for her gold.
That's nice.
Yeah,
yeah, that movie's... I didn't like that movie.
No, it was... I wrote specifically in my notes, plot was pretty confusing and borderline dumb.
What did Netflix say for you?
Netflix said that this would have been the 2 stars, and maybe I'm just feeling a little generous. I'll give it 2 stars. I'm actually leaning towards 1. Yeah.
2 stars from Netflix. For me, I will go 1.5.
1.5.
Go 1.5. I really didn't like it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I went 1. Because at every point when I said 2 that I tried to justify, I'm just like, no, dude, that was bad. It's like, I can't justify you. So, yeah.
So let's move on to our third and final movie.
Which is Odd Thomas. Now, this movie was a film from 2013. And let's read the description. In a California desert town, a short-order cook with a clairvoyant ability encounters a mysterious man with a link to the dark, threatening forces. All right. And so, one of the funnier things, because it said that he's a chef or whatever, a cook.
Yeah.
And as I was watching him actually cook in the movie, I was like, this dude's basically SpongeBob. Like, real life
pretty
SpongeBob.
much, yeah, he's SpongeBob. He's just in the back. Making cool dishes. Like really good dishes. I might make a steak today.
A steak?
Yeah.
I'm going burger tonight.
I'm going steak, and I might throw some bacon on it just to see how that works.
Ooh. Bacon wrap it. Just like bacon exit.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Random thought. I don't know. I just thought of... Because I bought bacon, and I haven't used it yet. I gotta find a way to use it.
Not bad call. I put an egg on my burger yesterday, and it didn't turn out the best, so I'm not doing that today.
Yeah.
Just got my bun really messy. And
sounds weird.
Yeah, moist bun.
Yeah.
But so, movie starts off with Odd. His name is Odd. He basically explains his name being Odd.
His mother had powers and was locked up, and he doesn't want to be his mother.
Yeah, so like his mom had clairvoyant powers, but she was a little crazy. Like in the I'll knife dad down kind of way.
Yeah.
But later on, she actually gets sent to the loony bin because the dad exposes her clairvoyant abilities as her being crazy.
Yeah.
And so Odd keeps his powers to himself because he doesn't want to be labeled as crazy.
But it's hard to control himself, and we find out in the first scene when a random friend of his drives by and is like, hey, look at my new car.
Yeah.
And then a bloody woman comes up to him who's a ghost and is just like, hey, he murdered me in that car. And then Thomas calls him out on it, and then dude runs and Thomas just fucking chases him down.
Yeah, just books it after him. And they have like a full-on fight scene. Just Thomas beating that, or I beating
Yeah, they break into like not break in, their chase leads to like some kid's birthday pool party. And I think the mother's Charisma Carpenter from Buffy. I couldn't tell.
Okay.
She's not credited.
It wouldn't be familiar
It's
to
just
me.
like just a small cameo. But yeah, they end up having like a pretty decent fight in like this kid's room.
I was just like, in my notes I put down, I was like, I does not mind fucking people's shit up.
No, he kicked down a door, like broke some vases and lamps.
Through a TV, like the TV broke in half. I was like, what? Yeah, he fucked shit up. That was awesome.
And
that's really the only fight scene you see in this movie.
Yeah, everything else is more like chase type stuff.
Chase, suspense. Investigation.
So we think, like, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a thing where the cop's going to hate him. But turns out the cop, who's the police chief, played by William Dafoe, is actually cool with Thomas. So it sounds like he knows enough about Thomas. It's like, oh yeah, Thomas is clairvoyant.
Yeah, he knows Thomas is the truth, and he's like, you've never been wrong before.
Yeah.
So,
but you should stop doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy totally did murder that person. So the cop's actually really cool with him. It seems like the rest of the cops are cool with him too. Of just like, yeah, he's going to help us, and it's going to seem strange, but
yeah, like whatever, it makes our job easier.
Yeah, I kind of like that the movie was kind of just used an established thing. Instead of doing like an origin story where we have to find out their first relationship with the cop, it was just like, no, Odd Thomas is just in this town and people know who the fuck he is generally.
Pico Mundo or something like that.
Some probably real California town that sounds fake.
Yeah. And so after that,
we get introduced to the girlfriend.
Stormy, which she has a real name, but I didn't write it down. It was either Anna or Hannah. I couldn't tell, so I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't rewinding a fourth time.
This is at the diner, so we see him in full SpongeBob mode.
Yeah, he's just chefing it up, going in like a Khalees milkshake video or something.
Just making really awesome looking dishes. And people,
for diner people.
Yeah. And then Stormy comes in, who's attractive. At one point, she does something, that kind of bothered me. But I think it was just them trying to emphasize that she was attractive. Okay. Where she goes by the counter. She's like wearing a skirt, and she steps over the counter to go say hi to him.
Oh, and she like how she spun around.
She spun around, and her skirt wasn't covering her ass, so she just had her ass on the counter, and she turned around, and then it's just like William Dafoe's just trying to eat his fucking burger.
Yeah,
it's just like, even if she is attractive, it's still one of those scenes like, get your ass off the counter.
Now he's got poop particles all.
I don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to eat my diner cheeseburger, which is already probably suspect.
If she farted at all that day, there's poop particles on that ass.
Yeah, but we get introduced to her. She seems pretty cool.
Yeah, she's a cool girlfriend.
And then also we get introduced to the Bodaks.
The Bodaks are these...
who are Grim Reaper type thing. Apparently they're like chaos.
Yeah.
They follow...
They like to smell people before they die. Like before really chaotic deaths. They like to just linger and smell them. And it's one of those things where Odd says that he can see them, but if the Bodaks find out that he can see them, they will kill him. Yeah.
Like, they generally just don't bother people unless shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
Like, they only show up when horrible events are going to happen.
And they don't seem to influence things unless they know that you can see them.
Yeah. Or if a horrible thing's going to happen, they will interfere to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they did.
We see that at the end.
We did that. They did that with him, but he said that they had been manipulating him this whole time, so they had to know that he could see him. So the whole time they were just sending him off.
Oh no, I'm talking about particularly they interfere with people. At the end, you see one of them like go into one of the bad guys for a second just to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So they're just like the chaos.
Like now, because this one was going to be huge, and they were like, well, "We want to see that."
Yeah.
So basically, he ends up seeing the Bodaks come into the diner, and he's hiding that he can't see them.
Does an okay job at it, kind of.
Pretty bad job.
He frees up because the Bodak specifically was like looking at the girlfriend a lot.
Yeah.
And every time he would just like find a reason to call her.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
but he would like constantly just like find a way to like call her back because like it was going to follow her out, and she called him back, and then he ends up like she gets really close face to face with the boat axe a couple times.
Yeah,
which almost was like, man, you almost probably got her killed just because he was following her, and then you called her back, and she just ended up right there face to face with one.
Face to face with it.
So he's at this point, he's like on his way home, and then like a faceless bowling team.
Yeah.
Fucking attack
faceless
him.
Bowling team. And what he said when he helped the little girl, he said the dead don't talk, and these people were saying save me. So he's like, these people aren't dead. These are people that actually are gonna need some saving because I just saw the future somehow.
Okay, yeah, because he got shot.
Yeah, and no, it was just like their mouths were open. Some of them, their mouths were closed but would open.
Yeah,
but their like eyes and nose were just like nothingness.
Yeah, like Slender Man, blurry face.
Yeah.
And he was getting shot during that whole sequence, and then he wakes up in the morning. Like they take him to his room.
Yeah, and
they drop him in his bed. And then he wakes up and there's no bullet wounds or anything like that, which is also probably foreshadowing based on how the movie ends.
Yeah. The gun and everything was like the same.
Yeah.
And so basically he starts his investigation. He calls the cop, Willem Dafoe, already. He's just like, hey, bro, like this shit's going down. I'm going to look into what's going on. That's where...
that girl with the Rottweilers happens.
She, we get introduced to her and the cop that she's, I guess, dating. At Willem Dafoe's, like, barbecue.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's just having people over for some steaks. And she's hitting on him. She's hitting on our boy Odd, even though he's with Stormy and keeps telling her. But, you know, whatever. She disappears.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. She goes about hers. But later on... No, before that... Odd ends up going back to... No, he finds where the dude lives before he meets old girl.
Oh yeah, he's like he's rummaging through stuff, but nothing really happens. Yeah. He almost gets caught.
He just sees a bunch of like old murder, like Bundy and all those famous murderers.
Something
like this
dude's
got a file full of those, and then an open calendar date for August 15th.
Yes, yeah. And then he goes to the barbecue.
Yeah. And that's where he runs into the cop and the girl. So then they continue the investigation, but him and Odd and Stormy go to have a picnic at the cathedral because it's a nice, sexy little area to have a little personal picnic. But he sees the guy coming for him. What was his name? Bob?
Ron?
Ron.
I have Ron in my notes.
Okay.
Because Ron's the guy that they find dead later, right?
Yeah,
Ron.
Yeah, Ron is like coming for him. He's like, one, how did you know I was the one in your house? And two, how did you know where the fuck I was?
Also, Ron looked fucked up.
Yeah, he looked like walking a little different. Yeah. He looked like a clown.
Something like that. Yeah.
Like a dead clown almost.
But that's when the dog chase thing happens.
Yeah. They run from him, get away. He makes sure Stormy gets home safely, and he goes back out, and that's when he sees the other girl like running and screaming. No, he was with Stormy, and then you hear her scream, and Stormy's like, I think that's for you. And he goes and handles that, and she's getting attacked by Rottweilers.
Yeah. She ends up dead, right?
Yeah, she died. The Rottweiler fucked her up. But dude a guy shot the Rottweiler.
And he was crying like, I had to shoot 2 dogs. It's like they were murdering a poor girl. Like, you're completely ignoring that fact.
Right. To me, I felt like I should have noticed that guy was from the building because the pants, I immediately knew. I was like, the pants were a different color than Ron's.
But also, what was that guy doing out with a gun?
Yeah, that guy had a gun when I was leaving, and he told the dogs, like, dude, I'm gonna kill you guys soon. And so, yeah.
So then we get another reminder that the girlfriend's attractive because they're at the apartment, and Odd's like, I gotta probably go back out there, and she's just in her underwear for no reason.
Yeah, and these are like really high cut boy shorts. Like,
no, it's straight up underwear.
Yeah, well,
it's like lacy underwear.
Like, yeah.
No, like 'cause her work uniform are like board shorts.
No, like those boy shorts.
Okay, yeah. Nah, this seems more like just like straight up lacy underwear. But either way, we're getting a little too much detail on that. But it was just one of those
parts that like stood out though.
Yeah, because it just seemed unnecessary. Just kind of like how the sex scenes in the last movie were unnecessary, where it was just like
this movie was going fine without that.
Yeah, like she's
well,
like
appreciated. It's just
It's like, really I'm in my underwear right now. I'm going to lay in the bed, and then Thomas is going to be like, I have to go back to work.
She tried to use that kind of as a way to keep him there.
Yeah, but
still.
Yeah.
They could have really used any clothing to do that. But I was like, whatever.
So he just goes back out. And then that's when he finds Ron in his tub. Like, he goes back to his place.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he sees a gun on the floor first, and he's like, hold up, somebody's here. And he goes to investigate, and Ron's dead in there.
And so they're trying to frame him. And he realized there's enough shit happening that if he calls the cops, they'll have to arrest him, so he won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So he puts Ron in his trunk.
Yeah, he does.
And then is just like, all right, I'm going to go do this. And
drag you away to a gas chamber, an old, like, abandoned police gas chamber, or prison gas chamber.
And then the chief is at home, answers the door, and says, like, Odd, if that's you, I'm going to be so pissed. And
every time he calls the cop, Willem Dafoe's like damn near waist deep in some ass with his wife. So funny.
So then he goes to the door, and turns out it's not Odd, it's a gunman. Oh, we should mention, I don't remember why, but Odd earlier that day gave the chief a silver heart thing, like a big silver heart thing.
Yeah, it's
like a heart necklace.
He had asked somebody to make him a chest plate that was big enough to cover someone's heart. But dude was like, I got really into it and made a chest plate that was the shape of a heart. And he's like, what? But he didn't have time to fix it. So he's like, whatever. He's like, who is it for? Like, Stormy's heart should be fine, right? And he's like, I don't know who it's for yet. Like, I just know somebody's gonna need this. So
he puts that on. He gets shot, but luckily that thing protects him.
Yeah, it protects him from 2 of the 3 shots.
Yeah, one of them was still able to get through.
Yeah, it just hit, like, not on his heart, but somewhere else. I don't know where. He was cool though.
So while this is happening, Odd is investigating another house and finds like fingers and head in the fridge. While he's talking to his girlfriend who's working at the ice cream shop, and is just like,
he went back to Ron's house.
Yeah,
again.
Well, and that's when Ron's ghost attacks him and like blows up the house.
Bro, I thought it was hilarious. He threw a TV at him, then a refrigerator.
Yeah. Because at first, because like Ron's ghost tried to punch him, and he's like, "You're a ghost, you can't fucking affect me." So then Ron just like starts moving objects. He's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah,
and it just gets completely
fucking poltergeist.
Yeah. Then he figures out one of the cops is a fucking devil worshiper.
Yeah.
Because they got POD tattoos, which I thought was funny because that used to be a band.
Oh,
it was like
funny.
A Christian band.
Oh.
Payable on Death.
Oh.
You would know their songs. They had big songs in like the early 2000s. I can't think of a name of one, but if you heard it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that song," because it was probably in a Tony Hawk game.
Oh, okay. Christian band.
Yeah. Well, no one really knew they were Christian, but their band name was Payable on Death. And then if you listen to their music, it's like, oh, you kind of have a message you're trying to tell us. So he finds out they're devil worshippers, and that's when he starts to put together, like, oh shit, the cops are planning to do something on August 15th because it's all connected.
Yeah. So
they figured the one cop was working with Ron, but then he had to get rid of Ron because that would be a loose end. And this leads pretty much straight into the mall, right?
The mall, yeah. It says he has a strange thing that he doesn't have a name for, but just if he walks randomly, he ends up where he needs to be.
Yeah. And he gets a vision of just like, oh shit, my girlfriend works at the mall.
Yeah.
Are they trying to kill my girlfriend?
Yeah, because he met with that like Taylor chick or something and read her mind or something. Like, dude, if you could have read her mind in the first place, why didn't you do it? But whatever.
So this, I put in my notes, I'm guessing this is why this movie kind of just came and went in theaters, because like the big plot thing is the cop is planning to do a mass shooting at a mall.
And they were talking in the hundreds of deaths.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, because like I remember seeing trailers for this movie, and then it just like releasing quietly in theaters. I can totally see a studio being like, we can't put a movie out like that currently.
Yeah, not in 2013.
Yeah. Still now, you probably can't get away with that. Now
even
more.
I mean,
2013 was probably around like the fucking Dark Knight shooting.
Wasn't it like Boston?
No, Boston probably was like 2 years ago. 2, maybe 3 years ago, which I guess would line up with that. But also remember the Dark Knight shooting was that year?
Oh, yeah. I forgot people. Yeah, those assholes did shoot for Dark Knight. Or that asshole.
Yeah. So I can totally see why this movie.
Damn, and that school shooting. It was a lot of shooting.
Yeah, there was a huge amount of like attacks, which is why this movie probably got buried. Yeah, which is a shame because this is actually a pretty decent movie.
It's good. We saved it for last because we enjoyed it the most.
So this is he finds his way to the security room and finds all the security guards dead.
Yeah, and it's like one masked man in there.
And he takes him the fuck out with a baseball bat.
Dude, they pull off the mask and his jaw is just fucked.
Odd Thomas is strong as hell.
Yeah, right. Dude,
I mean, I guess a baseball bat, no matter how strong you are, if you get a good shot in there. Because the guy wasn't expecting it, so his jaw wasn't clenched or anything. Like, he was probably just open jawed and just...
Oh, shit, dude, I would hate that. I'd be dead.
Yeah, you would probably dislike that.
But yeah, this movie has some good effects.
Yeah,
like with the Bodaks.
It reminded me a little bit of Frighteners.
I've never seen that.
It's a Michael J. Fox movie where he can see ghosts. He can see...
80s or 90s Michael J. Fox?
90s Michael J. Fox. Or mid-90s.
Okay.
He can see ghosts and interact with ghosts. And then he starts to see people in real life with like numbers in their head. And that means they're going to die. So then he has to like deal with that stuff. It's a comedy. I think Sinbad's one of the ghosts.
Fucking Sinbad.
Yeah, he lives with like two ghosts that he helps. So, and we're going to take sidetrack.
Okay.
In Frighteners, Michael J. Fox is a exorcist for hire.
Okay. Wait, so he's not associated with the church?
No, but he's he communicates with the dead, so he'll find hauntings and then like get rid of the ghost. Okay. So what he does is his buddy Sinbad is a ghost from the 70s, and then he has another ghost friend who's like from the Wild West. So he sends them to haunt houses, and then eventually they drop a calling card or they'll put on the ad of him being like, do you have ghosts? I can get rid of them. And then he goes to the house.
So
he's
a scammer.
Yeah, and then he just does fake shit. Like he'll just have like a fake radar gun and like, doot, up, there's a ghost right there. And then the ghost will like pick something up and drop it. Yeah. And he'll just like exorcise the ghosts.
I can see that being a comedy.
It's a really funny movie. And it just kind of reminded me of that because the ghosts in there, like the
dead like dude with the arm, missing arm.
yeah. And then like
kicking his nose with it.
And then like the bad ghost in there, like the Grim Reaper ghost, kind of looks like the Babadook or whatever the fuck they were called.
Babadook?
No, Babadook was that movie that I hated.
Oh.
Bodaks.
Oh, okay, yeah. Dude, when they showed dude with the missing arm about to die, he was in the car. I thought the truck was gonna take his arm off and he just smashed his head first into it. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, and the funny thing about that ghost is like knows Thomas can see him. Yeah. So he's always trying to make Thomas laugh, and then Thomas is like, I fucking hate when people are even dead and they still want people to like them.
Right.
Because he's like picking his nose with his picked up arm, or his like decapitated arm. It's like,
that shit was funny. I was like, wow.
I really like this movie. So he finds out that he takes the mask off, and it's like, oh shit, there was a third guy or a fourth guy.
It was the cop, like dude he had just killed was the cop that he saw with the girl at Willem Dafoe's
So
place.
It turns out the other cop is the one doing mass shooting. The dude locks down the mall and is just shooting up the mall, specifically the girlfriend's ice cream shop.
Yeah.
But he was able, and then as he's trying to stop
the windows and the ice cream shop.
Yeah. As he's doing this, the Bodaks are just pulling on him because they just want to see the world burn. There's a bunch of
boats. Like thousands of them there too.
Nah, not probably 1,000. There was a couple dozen on just him alone. There was probably 1,000 in the mall. But the ones pulling him, they're pulling him, and there's probably like a dozen pulling him. But he finally gets too close enough to the guy, and he just fucking headshots him.
He headshots him, bro. He was missing all these shots left and right. And then that one, he just point blank.
Because he was only like a foot away. Like from far away, he's shooting him nothing, and then he finally gets up close, and it's just like the movie just ends kind of like. Not the end, like the whole
like the
tension
right there, yeah.
Just pulls the headshot, and then he sees his girlfriend. Girlfriend's fine. He's like, "Yay!"
She
happy
stands
ending.
up from behind the counter, and he's like, "Cool." Stormy's cool, but then the dead big titty chick from Willem Dafoe's barbecue that the round.
Oh, okay, yeah. She is like, there's still shit happening.
She's yelling, but you can't hear her, so you're like, oh shit, she's dead. Yeah, I forgot about her.
Yeah.
What is she talking about? And she leads him to a truck full of just like explosives.
Yeah, and then the other cop.
There's
still one more cop.
Shit up,
yeah, there's still one more cop, and
Yeah.
He tries to stop him, and that leads to like a car chase.
Yeah, because the Bodax takes control of this officer.
Yeah, because the officer was going to leave, and then the Bodak's like, no, not yet, motherfucker.
Right, he's about to disarm this bomb. Like, you gotta stop him.
So then he ends up trying to attack the Odd in the truck, but they end up driving it into like a ravine.
Yeah, like one of those, what were those?
It's a ravine, like the LA River.
In LA, yeah.
Yeah. So he does that. And at this whole time, like, he's getting shot up left and right.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting fucked up with bullets. And then he jumps out. Truck goes into the ravine.
Yeah.
Blows up. He's fine. He wakes up in the hospital bed. William Dafoe is fine.
Yeah.
And, like, William Dafoe's wife
comes.
and then Stormy's there. And they're like, hey, this kind of made the news. This is kind of a big deal. So I think people are going to find out about you.
Yeah, and, like, whole, like... What was that movie? Like when Waterboy was at the hospital with his mama and he looks out the window? That's basically what Odd Thomas looked out the window to.
So Odd Thomas goes back to his girlfriend's apartment. They're talking, and then William Dafoe shows up, and he's like, dude, you need to stop coming here.
Like, it's been long enough.
It's been long enough. The coroner's...
Stormy's dead.
Stormy's dead, and then you turn around, Stormy's in her work uniform, shot up, and it's just like, that's a gut punch.
Yeah, like, bye, Stormy. You were a very fun character.
Yeah, she was a really good character. Yeah. Despite them like trying to over sexualize her, she was actually a really cool character.
Yeah, and so she wanted to move. She wanted Odd to leave all that shit behind and just go to Vegas. So as like a homage to her after she died, he goes to Vegas and he's gonna fight crime there, fight like crimes using his powers, which I said it could be a pretty cool spinoff of this movie.
Yeah, if they would allow it, but they probably won't. Like, this would make a decent show.
Yeah, I watched that show.
Reaper was a show, but that was not really like
Never
this.
Watched that.
Reaper was okay.
But that one guy,
Tyler Laban,
looked lame. But I think all CW shows look pretty lame.
It was a good show, actually. Okay. It was a decent show.
All right. Well, Netflix said Thomas will be a 4-star for me. Yeah. And I'm actually going to give it 4 stars.
Netflix as well said it would be a 4-star, and I will give it a 4-star. This was actually really good. It's a shame that the movie got kind of buried.
Yeah.
Because I could totally see this being, like, not necessarily a franchise, but like they can make, like, 5 Percy Jackson movies. They can fucking make 2 Odd Thomas movies.
Yeah. Way to put it.
Why the fuck are there so many Percy Jackson movies?
Yeah, that's questions that should be asked. Well... Should we move on to the next week's movies?
Yeah, let's move on to next week. Or not next week. 2 weeks movies. Again, we moved to the 2-week format just so if you guys want to keep up with us and make it a little bit easier for you guys, because I know it could be difficult if you want to watch the movie we're talking about.
So first up we have from 1985, Spies Like Us, starring Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. In this slapstick comedy, 2 CIA spies who have never left their boring offices in Washington, D.C., have to save the world from nuclear disaster. Well,
we saw the trailer for it. It looks funny enough. I like Chevy Chase. Dan Aykroyd, I'm hit or miss.
I don't like it more than that one movie we watched with the odd, weird
with Martin
girl.
Short and, I forgot
can't think. Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, there you go.
And then after that one, guys, we have ARQ.
It's a Netflix original.
Yep, came out this year, 2016. TVMA, so that makes me very, very excited for this. Trapped in a lab and stuck in a time loop, a disoriented couple fends off masked raiders while harboring a new energy source that could save humanity. Which
I'm hoping in the first 3 seconds they'd tell me if it's called ARC or ARQ.
Yeah.
Better be solved within
ARQ because I was like, easy,
within the first couple minutes they better tell me that. And it stars Robbie Amell from he's in The Flash season 1. He's Firestarter.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is that guy. I made it to that part actually. And so then the last movie we have is from 2015. Starring Jason Ritter and Eva Gocheva. Sorry if I butchered that.
You did, probably. But it's okay. She's not listening.
Yeah, she might be. She might be a very
I mean, we've had some
fan.
people in movies so far reach out to us, which is always weird.
I never know how I should respond.
Yeah, I don't either. Just like, but sometimes they'll just like retweet it. It's just like, hope you guys listened.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be the movies that we didn't like that get attention. Yeah. Sometimes. The Overnight guys seem to like it.
I like that. But yeah, this movie is called Embers. Survivors of a global epidemic are left without the ability to create memories, forced to navigate the bleak world by living entirely in the present. Doesn't sound like a fate worse than death. I mean, I guess memories are cool, but
yeah,
I think I could live without memories.
I don't know. That seems like something you would need. Are you just like a fucking idiot the entire time? Like, what do they mean by memories? How do they define that?
Just you. It says you only live in the present. So I think. Wait, so does
but
that
you
mean,
can't learn then?
Yeah, that's true. You're right. No, I couldn't live without memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I didn't remember reading in kindergarten, how the fuck would I be able to read?
We wouldn't have this podcast.
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't have a computer.
Nope, not at all. We'd be like, the fuck is this device? Like in Zoolander.
No, there would be no device.
The files are inside the computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that turns out to be good. That'll be it for this episode.
I'm going to be pretty critical of that movie. Just because now that you've opened my eyes.
Yeah, I'm just like, we kind of need memories.
It's just every moment. Like, he shouldn't remember that. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to episode 17 of Every Movie Ever. Thanks again to Artifacts with a K for doing our intro and outro. And we will leave you all with that.